watching, yes, the Yankees Entertainment and Sports Network.
The holiday weekend is coming to a close, and on this Memorial Day, we remember that freedom is not at all free. We honor those who made the ultimate sacrifice. Today, we enjoy those freedoms, and we carry on with the tradition of America's pastime. It is time for baseball, as the Yes Network presents New York Yankees baseball. And today, it's the New York Yankees against the defending World Series champion Houston Astros in the first game of a three-game set from Yankee Stadium in the Bronx. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Yankees baseball, along with Paul O'Neill and David Cohn. I'm Michael Kay. Yankees just took 2 out of 3 against the Angels, and now a series against the Astros. Astros have great pitching. The Yankees have great hitting. So something's got to give, right? Let's take a look at the numbers and how they flush out. The Yankees will have a offense that's first in runs per game, first in home runs, first in slugging against an Astros starting staff, first in ERA, first in strikeouts, and first in opponents' batting average against. Again, something has to give. The Astros certainly will have their issues with this Yankee lineup. Paul, 2 of the guys have to deal with, Aaron Judge and Gleyber Torres.
Well, Aaron Judge, you always know for his prodigious home runs, and you see the highlights, they just keep going on. But he's a 290 hitter, and he's learned to use the whole field. Gleyber Torres, you expected him to hit, but all of a sudden he hits for power. 9 home runs already since he's broke into the lineup. Tough task for them today against Verlander.
Let's take a look at the pitching matchup today, brought to you by People's United Bank. For the Yankees, Domingo Germán will get the start, and for the Astros, it's Justin Verlander. Look at the ERA, 1.08. David, I don't know if he's ever pitched better than this.
No, shades of Bob Gibson, circa 1968. You can't lower the mound again. That's what they had to do back then, but he is re-energized. His stuff is better than ever, as Michael said. Kind of a refined slider that is a little slower and a little more swing and miss potential. Verlander, as Michael also said, better than he's ever been in his career. This is what you call a Hall of Fame push right now. He was kind of borderline before. I think he gets over that hump now, though, if he continues this run.
And he's going to face a little bit of a different look Yankee lineup. Yeah, a little bit of changes by Aaron Boone. Meredith Marakovich will detail when we get back.
Just a little bit of a lineup shakeup today. Giancarlo Stanton has the afternoon off, and Gleyber Torres moves up from that 9 spot to the 5 hole. Didi Gregorius moves down to 7th. I spoke with manager Aaron Boone earlier, who discussed moving Gleyber up in the order.
I like the look of the lineup today. You know, just trying to balance out righties, lefties, switch hitters, and things. it just felt like the right day to do it. And it felt like, with Giancarlo down, you kind of have obviously a little different look in that middle of the order, and with Bird back now, wanting to slide Didi down just a little, just to take a little pressure off there. It just felt like a natural day to slide him in more in the middle situation.
Exactly how long Glaber will continue to hit in that 5th spot, well, that remains to be seen. Aaron Boone not really committing to anything prior to the game, simply saying it would be a fluid situation. Plenty more to come here on the Yes Network when we get back. Domingo Herman gets the ball. Michael Kay with the call. He'll be joined by Paul O'Neill and David Cohn after the break.
Springer, Altuve, and Correa, Gurriel, Gonzalez, and Gaddis, Davis, McCann, and Marisnik put together by A.J. Hinch. Herman is ready. Springer's ready. Let's do it here in the Bronx. First pitch is a strike, and we are underway.
See those numbers on the year. Last couple starts have been a little bit of a rough patch for Domingo.
Grounded up the middle. Right there is Torres. One away.
Let's go ahead and give you a pitcher scouting report brought to you by your Tri-Honda dealers. And Domingo Herman, as I just said, his last 2 starts, it's kind of been one bad inning for him. Things kind of unraveled. He'll cruise, and then when he gets in the stretch position, he starts nibbling on the corners. He needs to figure that part out, and it all centers around his fastball command. He's got a good one, about 95 miles an hour on average.
Here is Jose Altuve, the reigning American League MVP. Just had a stretch of 10 hits and 10 at-bats.
Put your average where it needs to be, huh?
And overall 10 for his last 15 extra base hits, 6 ribbies, 6 runs, 2 stolen bases, and 5 extra base hits. 1 and 2.
The shift starting to shift a little bit differently with 2 strikes, but Altuve is a free swinger, but boy can he hit.
And the 2-2. Got some hop on the fastball today. Just missed outside, 3-2 with Correa on deck.
Yeah, Coney, to your point, this is what happens. I mean, he's in the strike zone, and then all of a sudden starts nibbling to try to get guys to swing out the strike zone. You have to realize you got to stay in there a little bit longer against some of the better hitters. You don't want to go from 0-2, 1-2 all the way back to 3-2. It becomes a hitter's count.
He faced them in relief on May 1st. Did well against them. Fly ball, deep center. Hicks backs up and makes the play on the warning track. 2 outs. Take a look at the Yankee defense presented by our good friends at Geico. You've got Gardner in left. We just saw Hicks in center. Judge over in right. Stanton has a day off. Infield, it's Andujar, Gregorius, Gleyber Torres, and Bird. That's third to first. Sanchez behind the plate. And Domingo Germán on the mound. And he will now face Carlos Correa. Beginning of a 3-game set, Yankees faced the Astros 4 games in Houston earlier in the season, and each one of the games was very well played, and the Yankees won 3 of the 4. They did not have much luck against Verlander in that series, but won that game because they got to the bullpen as Verlander pitched just 8 innings in that game. Just 8 innings.
That's it.
Yankees scored 15 runs, Astros 7. Yankees didn't hit for average, neither did the Astros. Yankees had 3 home runs, Astros 1. Correa down in the count 1-2.
You look at the stuff of Germán, and it's just like he doesn't need to pitch out of the strike zone. I mean, it's that good.
His fastball moves all over the place. 97 miles an hour with excellent late movement running in on Correa, that right there. And that is the missing link for Germán. As soon as he can throw that pitch inside to keep all these hitters honest, then his slider and his changeup will be that much more effective.
1-2. Hammered foul. Swing and a miss. That's an impressive first inning for Domingo Germán. He retires the Astros in order. Houston nothing, and the New York Yankees coming to bat. Brought to you by Lexus. Yankees coming at 33-16. A little bit of a different lineup. Brett Gardner's in left, Aaron Judge in right. Gary Sanchez will hit third and catch. Greg Bird moves up the cleanup spot. Gleyber Torres all the way up to fifth. He'll play second. Aaron Hicks in center. D.D. Gregorius will play short. Miguel Andujar, the third baseman, bats eighth and batting ninth. And DHing today, Neil Walker, as Giancarlo Stanton has a day off against the tough righty, Verlander.
Indeed, and those numbers are very skinny, Paulie. I mean, thin. A lot to like there if you're a pitcher. 1.08 ERA, just incredible.
And the first batter will be Brett Gardner. Swings at the first pitch and hits a sky-high pop-up to shallow right. Altuve gives way to Springer for the first out.
Let's tell you a little bit more about Justin Verlander in our pitcher scouting report, brought to you by your Tri-Honda dealers and the historic pace and re-energized approach and Hall of Fame push. Well, let me concentrate on historic pace. A lot of people use a lot of metrics. ERA minus is one of them, and say in the sabermetric world, and the best score in modern history was Pedro Martinez's 2000 season. Justin Verlander's pacing at 10% better than that. Incredible. In better shape now on the approach, and this is a Hall of Fame push.
Judge fouls one back.
Remember, in the year 2000, Pedro Martinez went 18-6 with a 1.74 ERA. He gave up 128 hits and 217 innings, 284 strikeouts and 32 walks, and that is, by the sabermetrics community, probably the best season in modern era. Verlander's pacing above that, or below that rather, lower, skinny numbers. This year, the AL average ERA, or 2000 rather, was 4.91. So you compare to the league average. Back in 2000, that's what it was, 4.91. So that's a better way, I think, to compare pitchers from different generations. What was going on during your era? What was the league average? How much better than league average are you? And Verlander lapping the field.
And the 1-2. Well, they got him right at the trade deadline. I mean, right at the trade deadline, moments before midnight. And boy, did he pay off. Down the stretch, he was 5-0 with a 1.06 in 5 starts. In 6 postseason starts, 4-1 with a 2.21 ERA. And picking up where he left off with a great start to this season. He's 35 years old, and you could have made the case that he was on the downside of his career with the Tigers. Maybe, you know, the bad baseball got to him. Maybe he found something different in the analytics crew with Houston, but he seems reinvigorated.
Definitely, and part of it is off the field. Part of it is his personal life, getting married, and then rededicated himself to a workout program. In much better shape now than he's ever been.
Swing and a miss. Judge down on strikes. Take a look at the Astros defense presented by Geico. You've got Gonzalez in left, Marisnik in center, and Springer over and right. In the infield, it's Gurriel at third. Correa, who has not had an error in 62 consecutive games. That's a new Astro record. He's at short. Altuve at second. J.D. Davis at first. Former Yankee Brian McCann behind the plate. We told you about Verlander on the mound. There's Gary Sanchez. Astros shift for him. Altuve on the shortstop side of second. Davis all alone on the right side. Popped up and out of play. Closed captioning is brought to you by the Lincoln Motor Company.
Verlander, overpowering fastball, but a lot of breaking balls, especially to the power hitters in the Yankees lineup. Started Gardner off with a heater, but then other than that, a lot of breaking balls to Judge. Started Sanchez off with a breaking ball also.
So Michael mentioned it. He has refined his slider, taken a little more velocity off of it, getting it to drop more. Been a very effective pitch for him.
One thing that Verlander has carried over from his days with Detroit, you saw that fastball was 93. And he used to do that in Detroit, and he would build up, and his velocity would get better as he went along. And that's a little different than Luis Severino of the Yankees, who might register 100 on his first pitch and 100 on his 105th pitch. So he carries his velocity. I'm not sure if Verlander's just getting warmed up or he saved something in the tank. 1-2. What do you think it is, David? Saving it or just getting warmed up?
I think just understanding his mechanics, and then when he gets in a jam and he needs to add a little bit, like Bob Gibson used to do, like the great ones of the past used to do, he's got that ability.
One-two. Swing and a miss. Strong first inning for Verlander, matching the strong first inning for Herman. Yankees go down in order. We're going to go to the second. This is brought to you in part by Nissan. Get the technology of tomorrow today at Nissan Now. Shop ChooseNissan.com. By Planet Fitness, the world judges, we don't. Be free. And by Coke Industries. At Coke, we make things that make the world better. Carlos Beltran watching his last two teams. He was on the championship Astro team last year. Pitch to Gurriel is a strike.
A big challenge for Herman today. Obviously, he knows who's pitching on the other side. It's a tough lineup World Series. Probably home watching it last year. And as a young pitcher, you take the mound. The big face out there, Gurriel.
One and two. Today he's playing third base as they give Bregman the day off. Tough loss for the Astros yesterday. Blew a 5-run lead in the 9th inning to the Cleveland Indians. Ended up losing 10-9 in 14 innings, and it took 4 hours and 53 minutes. But the Astros have won 5 of 7, 10 of 14, 13 of 18, and since May 7th, they have the best record in the American League, 13-5. But strangely, Seattle is right on their tail. Seattle not going away.
Seattle just made a trade yesterday, right?
Well, there's the best records in baseball this season, and the top 3, Red Sox, Yankees, and Astros, not separated by much. Ground ball is short and off the glove of Gregorius as Andujar retrieves. That should be an E6. They gave him a hit.
Kind of in between hop. You see Didi's glove Get carried and ball comes up, hits him on the heel. Yes, Mo, brought to you by your Mercedes-Benz Tri-State dealer. I don't know about that one, Coney.
David, come on. If you're on the mound, you think that's a
I'm
hit?
biased. I'm a pitcher. That's an earned run. What are you talking about? Now, that ball had a lot of spin on it off the end of the bat. Top spin.
Pitch inside to Marwin Gonzalez.
This goes to show you the hop on your fastball. I mean, if you're Gonzalez, you're taking a first pitch, and all of a sudden, wow, you're about to lose a kneecap. I think Herman, as Severino did a few years ago, is going to realize how good his stuff is in the strike zone and gain more confidence throwing it.
It's a great point, Paulie, and that's the lesson that Luis Severino has learned. That confidence on the mound, willing to challenge hitters.
Yeah, it's almost, you know, you like to see hitters, you know, swing at its sliders out of the strike zone, but it almost spoils pitchers into never wanting to be in the strike zone, and you're always picking. And there are guys that need to nibble, and there are guys that need to stay in the strike zone. Herman needs to stay in the strike zone. He just has too good a stuff.
There's one on to first, not in time. Didn't hit hard enough.
I hate to keep re-emphasizing things, but you know, Herman, every time that you see them start, leadoff hitter on, you know, it's a big inning. It's a kind of a learning process every single time out there. You remember, he's only made a couple starts. The more he becomes comfortable, you know, getting out of jams and getting through games, the better he's going to be.
Here's Evan Gaddis. Pitch outside. Along with Paul O'Neill, David Cohn, and Meredith Morakovitz, I'm Michael Kay, and we thank you for joining us on this Memorial Day and spending part of your day with us on Yes. In the second inning, 0-0. Yankees and the Astros. Two teams played to the 7th game of the ALCS to get to the World Series last year. A game the Astros won, then they beat the Dodgers in 7 in the World Series. Let's look at the game time weather presented by Bigelow Tea. 65 degrees, 74% humidity, not much wind. Clouds giving way to some sun. Lights are on right now at the stadium. Gonzalez leads off first. And there's a strike to Gaddis, 2-1.
You know, it's okay, Paulie, if Summer wants to break through here in New York. You know,
anytime
Come on.
soon. I thought it was here when I landed the other night, did the game with Michael. It was 85, 90 degrees. Yesterday we were freezing. Coming though. It's the beginning of summer today, right? Memorial Day, isn't that the start of summer?
The unofficial start of summer, yeah.
It's cold 9 months a year and it rains the other 3 months. So. What's up with that?
It sounds like Michael's forecast.
We've become Seattle. 3-1. And Gaddis works a walk.
See Davis, 11 games, not a lot of action, yet to hit a home run. So good guy to bear down on, Herman.
Hit .415 in 33 games in AAA Fresno. And and then got the call-up when Derek Fisher went on the DL. Checks his swing.
It's a big-time prospect. He's been coming for a while. We'll see another look here on this slider. Kind of backs up on him.
You know, every once in a while, I think a catcher comes up and blocks that should have been a called strike. I mean, that ball's in the strike zone. Where's that pitch? Who cares if he checked his swing or not, huh?
Definitely on the plate from the overhead cam.
So 2-0. And Sanchez wants to talk with Herman.
We mentioned J.D. Davis up here at bat. Herman and Sanchez want to figure it out. In his career in the minor leagues, 291 average, 362, 520. Triple slash line for an 882 OPS. So he has been on the radar for a while. It's hard to crack at bats in this Houston Astros lineup.
And he could pitch a little too. He was a closer at Cal State Fullerton, and last year he pitched twice in blowouts for the Astros.
You know, sometimes, Coney, if you look back at the minor leagues, the worst minor leagues to be in are the ones with really, really good major league teams. It's very hard to break through to get in that lineup. Some of the lower division teams, I mean, you get opportunities quick. There's a good pitch right there, 2-0. I think you stick with that slide or that hard sinking fastball. Hope to get a double play ball.
Good job by Sanchez there, framing that pitch borderline right on the edge.
See, every once in a while, Coney, you notice his arm angle kind of changes and has a lot to do, I'm sure, with his control issues.
His fastball command. That's exactly right. You tend to overthrow a bit as a young pitcher, thinking you have to throw it harder. You have to make it perfect.
High fly ball, deep left. Going back, Gardner on the track at the wall. See ya! A 3-run home run for Davis. And the Astros lead 3-0.
You see Davis, he filled that home run column up. From 0 to 1 and a big one with Verlander on the hill. That's a 3-run shot. All of a sudden you get in a fastball count and you start getting towards the middle of the plate because you have to throw a strike. This is what happens.
That's what hitters dream of, right? A 3-1 fastball. The proverbial, here it comes.
If it comes on the outside corner, you know, you might give up a single or a base hit, but when it tails back to the middle of the plate, it ends up in the seats.
First home run this year. He had 4 last year with the Astros. And Herman gives up a big hit when you consider who he's opposing on the mound. Grounded foul.
I was talking to A.J. Hinch the other day, and the name Hanley Ramirez came up. You know, would you guys be interested? That's a kind of a question going around baseball now that Boston has released Hanley. And he said, well, we got J.D. Davis. We don't have at-bats for somebody that profiles like Hanley Ramirez, which is a DH.
And McCann down on strikes for the second out.
I don't know as a young pitcher, Coney, if you realize it, but sometimes, you know, your telltale, what you're really being tested on now is how you bounce back from that. Everybody's going to give up a home run. Everybody's going to give up a hit or two and some runs. But do you let the game get away from you, or are you able to bounce back and give this team, you know, some innings and give them an opportunity to get back in it?
Oh, and 2 on Marisnik.
It's a really good point. That's what all pitching coaches look at. It's easy to pitch when you're rolling.
Yeah.
You got your good stuff. You brought your A game. You're rolling. Can you self-correct? quickly on the fly.
Swing and a miss. Marisnik down on strikes. But the Astros get 3 runs on 2 hits and nobody left on base. We go to the bottom of the second. Is the official hybrid vehicle of the New York Yankees. Do you think the Astros provide the most difficult challenge to the Yankees among the AL teams? One of our respondents said absolutely. There's no doubt in my mind the Yankees can keep up with any other offense in the league, but first to pitch to Bird. But no team can go 4 deep in the rotation like the Astros. Well, the Astros now have the top 3 starter ERAs in the American League. Verlander 108, Morton 204, Cole 205. The last team with the league's top 3 qualifiers in ERA, you have to go back to the 1927 Yankees. And those are the top 5 right there. And the top 3 Yankees in 1927, Wilcie Moore was first. That's our director, John Moore's brother. Waite Hoyt second. And David's favorite name of all time, Urban Shocker, is third.
Urban Shocker. Wow.
Follow Yes Network and tweet us your responses using hashtag Yankees Camry Hybrid to keep the conversation going. Bird has been moved to the clean of a spot after just 2 games back off the DL.
Verlander has beat him twice inside. You just enjoy watching a pitcher this good that has such a good idea of how to pitch.
Swing and a miss. 3 strikeouts in a row for Verlander. Justin Verlander takes on the Yanks today by AARP. And he's done a nice job against them. Last 3 starts, 2-0. And 24 innings, just 13 hits, 1 run, 35 strikeouts, 2 walks. And that includes the postseason. Wow.
35 punch outs in 24 innings, Coney. You think he's got an idea what's going on?
Pitching a lot from the windup.
Yeah.
Not a lot of traffic.
Here's Gleyber Torres. Now, I have a question for you, David. With no one on base, Why is Brian McCann giving multiple signs? Former Yankee, maybe he thinks they're stealing signs.
We noticed that before. They do that all the time in the modern game with all the cameras. They want to make sure. You know, it's for these guys, and I understand. I mean, they see everything. We got to have great crews nowadays, great cameramen and women, and it's like the Truman Show. You know, you can't hide out there.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's just being extra careful.
Popped up. Davis gives it a look in the seats, but not everybody does it.
No, not everybody does it. Houston on the cutting edge of just about everything you can think about.
I mean, think about it. It might be a little more work, but it would make more sense because then you don't have to change anything with runners on second base and go out and talk about it and get crossed up. It's just something you go about all day.
It's a routine that you stay in ballpark to ballpark, whether you're in Houston or Cleveland or Toronto. I mean, historically, we've all heard stories about, especially in the Cleveland ballpark where the bullpens are facing directly towards home plate. And there's been rumors for years, going back to the shot heard around the world, Bobby Thompson. Coaches with binoculars. That was a story that had legs 50 years afterwards. Bobby Thompson hit the shot heard round the world, and Ralph Branca was the pitcher for the Brooklyn Dodgers. And years later, people were still talking about, well, we had the signs. We had a guy with binoculars and signs in the stands in the center field.
That one is punched out into center field, the base hit for Gleyber Torres.
That's a little jam shot up the middle, but just to get to that point and put together an at-bat. You know, when you're 21 years old, off the ace of the American League right now, foul off tough pitches, stay in there, don't give up. See his approach, he doesn't change. This ball beats him in, but you can stay inside if you put yourself in that position. Strong enough to just line it into center field. Boy, he's so impressed with his approach. Almost double clutch that, picked it up late.
We saw him hit a home run earlier this season on a similar type swing where it was an inside breaking ball that he reloaded and launched.
And a strike.
Talked about Verlander, Michael, and the pitchers and the historic nature of their numbers from a pitching staff, but that's supported by their defense. We've all talked about Houston and the analytical approach and the way they shift. They shift entirely more defensively than any other team in the big leagues. 43% of the time. The Major League average is a little over 17% of the time. They shift on right-handed batters as well. Generally, you see the shift more against left-handed batters. Another look here at the slider down and in.
The last thing you can get out of your way is that back foot, as you get a little weight, and then to get slapped in the face with the bat, that always helps too.
Looked like it almost hit him in the toe. A little ricochet there.
If you look at the center field replay there, and the Yankees are going to challenge, the ball definitely ricocheted. Watch this. Definitely hit him. Yep, hit his toe.
And watch, he gets hit in the face with the bat too. Doink. Not good. Not good. Ouch. Those are the things you pick up and you're just like, did that really just happen? I mean, I dropped the bat, came up, hit me in the nose. I got hit on the toe. They didn't call it.
He's more worried about his nose than his toe.
that's it. He'll take first. He was hit by a pitch. So the challenge successful for the Yankees.
Feels he deserves it after taking one off the nose, too. Huh?
Tanaka's talking about that. Here's Didi Gregorius. Meredith, talk to us.
Michael, it has just been a miserable month of May for Didi Gregorius, batting just 113 in the month. He actually stayed after the game yesterday and spent about an hour in the cage with hitting coach Marcus Timms trying to get himself right. Timms told me that Gregorius, despite the struggles, is still a positive person. He's in good spirits, but there is frustration there. And Didi even went so far as saying that early in his career, he probably wouldn't have been able to handle this. Now he realizes that baseball is a game of failure. You have to take the good with the bad, never get too high or too low, and try to remain steady throughout the course of a long season.
Boy, his first 2 months certainly illustrate that. Player of the month in April. He's 4 for his last 70 here in May. 4 for 70. You can't believe that. You know, he wouldn't run into 10 hits during that time. Quickly down on the count. First 25 games hitting .368, last 22, .099. We were talking before the game, Paul. You admit it. You would take an 0 for 5 home. Imagine how you'd be at 4 for 70.
It just weighs on you. You get up in the morning, it's there. You can't get away from it. You get to the ballpark, and like I said, I heard he stayed after the game yesterday. Sometimes that's the best, to stay after a game, because you're not trying to prepare for the game. You could just relax and hit. Going down in the cages sometimes with Mattingly after the game, and just to hit, and it was more, you know, just therapeutic stuff for your mind, just to show yourself you can do it instead of having the game ahead of you that's on your mind. And then, you know, when you're going through tough times, you know, you almost dread going after that first at bat to see how the day is going to start again. And here you are, you know, you start off 0-2 with men in scoring position against the AL A's.
Makes sense. You don't wear yourself out before the game.
Yeah, yeah.
There were always rumors, Paul, that Mattingly hit so much that he actually destroyed his body. That's why he broke down.
I've talked to him numerous times about it, and he said if he had to do it over again, he probably wouldn't do it as much. But, you know, that was a part of his game. I mean, he loved to work. He loved to be in, you know, just the small little nuances of hitting. He was a grinder. He wasn't a guy that just showed up and played. He worked at it.
2-2 on Gregorius. First and second, 1 man out. Astros lead 3-0. 3-2 on Didi, with Andujar on deck.
That's a Judge, and then he came back with another breaking ball for the strikeout. So it's not a guaranteed fastball count here, even with men on base.
Fly ball, left center. Marisnik's there. 2 outs.
You get to the point, if you're Didi, that you're almost up there just trying to you know, to serve it out there and to make contact, and you know, you've almost taken the hit part out of it. It's just you become so mechanical and so just put the ball in play oriented that you know, kind of take away your aggressiveness.
There has been a change of approach by just about every opposing pitcher. They are pounding him away. Another fastball away there and a fastball count. Didi rarely seeing pitches inside anymore. At least in the strike zone on the inner half of the plate.
So here is Andujar. 1-0. Yankees are averaging 5.74 runs per game, which is best in the AL. The Astros are 5th at 5 runs a game. And a scoring opportunity right here for the Bombers. One down, 1-2-3 in the first. Pickoff at second, and he is out by plenty. Bad base running by Gleyber Torres, and Verlander gets out of a jam with this pickoff and the throw to Altuve. Out by plenty. No runs a hit, no errors, and 1 man left. We go to the third. Season. All you need is one to keep the streak alive. Download Beat the Streak today for your chance to win $5.6 million. Top of the Astros order against Domingo Germán. Pitch outside. 1-0. Astros won 101 games last year, and if they win 100 or more this year, it'll be the first time in 13 years a big league team has been able to do that. Last team was the Cardinals.
Tell you what, they're pitching so far. They're getting an opportunity day in and day out. You know, World Series team, you got to figure you're a pretty solid team. So when your pitching's that good, you're going to accumulate a lot of wins.
3-1 on Springer. Shallow right field. Gleyber Torres is there to make the play. One away. That'll bring up Altuve, and it's time for the Jeep Hitters Scouting Report.
Well, Michael, you touched on it earlier. 10 straight hits, which is a franchise record that he had set before, which was 8. So he broke his own record. It was against Cleveland. Another 200 hit season. Well, he's on his way. 5 in a row. The last person to do that was Ichiro. And watch the curve. Hitting over 400 versus breaking balls this year. Really doesn't have a hole. I mean, he's got such a small strike zone, and he's such a good little hitter, and you know, even his first at bat, he has good power. So you know, you just can't go after him and think, ah, if I give up a single, so what? No.
Both called for an appeal, Altuve and Sanchez. Well, the 10 straight hits that Altuve had, it was against the Indians. 7 of them came against Andrew Miller, Carrasco, and Bauer. So, brand names for sure. Now, you mentioned Ichiro. Ichiro holds the record of 10 straight 200-hit seasons. Yeah. That's a big league record. Wade Boggs did it 7 straight years.
That almost looks like a changeup because of the movement, and then all of a sudden you look at 95. Well, if you knew how to grip this one every single time, Coney, watch the movement at the end of this pitch. It's 95 miles an hour.
That pitch sets up everything. Then you notice on the lunging swing on the next slider. So pitching in with that kind of stuff. Altuve, probably the only blip on the screen this year is the power numbers, and Michael mentioned that before. Just 3 home runs and 15 doubles. He had 24 homers last year and 24 homers the year before. A.J. Hinch admittedly said that probably bothers Jose Altuve a little bit. He's really proud of being able to drive the ball.
Yeah.
He's a complete ball player, obviously MVP. But the fact that his power numbers are down this year definitely gets in your head just a bit at times. He can take a lash at it. I mean, he turns it loose. Very aggressive approach.
And we didn't get a chance because it was the end of the inning. What happened with Torres at second?
Well, I think he proved that he's human, and he does make mistakes at 21 years old. He just got caught leaning and napping, and these are the little things that you know, the Houston Astros picked up on. Mon does a good job of getting behind Altuve and then coming back, but you know, at second base sometimes you just get it caught leaning, in which he did. Breaking ball here gets Altuve. And again, this was all set up by that hard sinker in early in the count. And Coney, you talk about it so much, and you know, if you're a fan, you think, well, what's so big about seeing an inside pitch? But as a hitter, you start to have to adjust a little bit and open those hips a little bit to get to that ball inside. And by doing that, it does not allow you to get to the outside pitch. So it does make a difference. It's just not throwing it in there, but throwing strikes makes it even more effective.
No hitter likes to get jammed.
No.
Get a broken bat, get beat inside. See, Herman predominantly holds it two-seam style, which allows for that movement. Two-seam fastballs will sink and run, and one of the problems with his overall fastball command is that two-seamer will do something different every time. One will sink down, one will run, more side-to-side movement.
That's just nasty stuff. And to your point, Coney, is that more, I mean, when you get a run and you get a sail, this is a slider, so it doesn't really apply, but is it arm angle that causes the sink in the run?
Sometimes it's inconsistent release point.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just natural.
Grounded to Andujar. And he bounces back, Herman does, with a 1-2-3 inning. We'll go to the bottom of the third. Yankees down 3-0. OLED TV with AI ThinQ. And by your local Kia dealers. Visit KiaDealers.com to learn more. Memorial Day here in the United States, and we're here in the Bronx. And take a look at the Brooklyn Bridge. Yankees down 3-0 as we go to the bottom of the third inning. Miguel Andujar was at the plate when Gleyber Torres was picked off of second to end the second inning. Yankees had runners on first and second. So it'll be Andujar, Walker, and Gardner. And there's a strike.
There's that kind of little step back on that picture, Michael. I didn't want to throw a bridge. I get a little confused on the bridges around here.
Not a bridge fan?
Every once in a while, I don't know where I am when I see those overheads. That's gave you a little time and space there.
Well, you're used to the Roebling's bridge, right?
Yeah, now you're bringing up old Cincinnati, huh?
But I believe that same gentleman did the Brooklyn Bridge. Yeah,
he certainly did. Trenton, New Jersey, the steel came from. Built both of those bridges. How you like that, Michael?
Wow, the stuff you come up with.
Yeah, just
big time prep work.
Whispered in my ear, you know.
It's one of the all-time great New York scams, right? The Brooklyn Bridge is for sale. They're trying to sell it to a guy from Cincinnati.
Yeah.
1-1. 1-2.
Cody, you've been through streaks like this. I mean, Verlander, I mean, you just must feel like whatever you throw, I mean, just it seems so hard to give up a run right now. And then there you go through times where every time you turn around, somebody's circling the bases on you, huh?
Indeed, he's well supported.
Popped up on the left side.
It's funny, you throw so many good pitches that even when you do miss, which he did right there, hanging breaking ball, they just seem to miss it.
Look at the numbers since the trade to the Astros in 21 starts and 22 games overall, 15-3, 1.36, including the postseason.
Here's what you're talking about, Paulie. And big, high looping curveball, and Andujar just off the end of the bat. We went to attack it and just a little quick on it.
A strike to Walker.
You know, Paulie, you're right. I mean, in 1998, I won 20 games, but it wasn't even close to the best season I've ever had. I was just well supported. Incredible run support, great defense behind me, and I think that's what Verlander has working as well right now. The Astros defense is ranked #1 by a lot of the metrics across the board. Maybe the most improved part of their game overall is their overall defense. You see this kind of alignment. They're very progressive with their shifting, but they have 3 shortstops out there too. Altuve can play shortstop, even though he hasn't. He's got the skill set to play short. Correa, actually Gurriel played shortstop in Cuba.
Get some athletes, in other words, huh?
Some athletes that are in the right place at the right time. Their overall defense is ranked by a lot of the metrics as the #1 defense, most improved. They were middle of the pack, ranked around 19th last year. They're #1 this year in defense, turning singles and doubles into outs.
Walker with a fly ball to left. Marwin Gonzalez for the second out.
That's how you have 3 starters in the top 3 in ERA. It's not just the starters, although they're great, but you're well supported by your defense.
Always love to see when, like Brett Gardner, first time up, tried to jump first pitch fastball. I always like to see if the pitcher adjusts, goes to something else, or said, hey, you know, well, here, you want that fastball? Let's go after it again. It's like a breaking ball. At 95 with a little sink, huh?
Stuff is as good or better than ever from Verlander. Sharper, he knows what he's doing.
Count 1-1 on Gardner.
Should give credit where credit's due, Mike. I mean, I like to spout out some numbers and statistics, but Baseball Prospectus and Aaron Gleeman wrote a great article on the Astros defense. They have a metric called park adjusted defensive efficiency that had them ranked 19th last year and first this year. A lot of it's the progressive shifts, a lot of it's skill. These guys have great range, and they're in the right place.
You figure you go from 10th to 9th or 5th. I mean, that's a good jump. From 19th to 1st, that seems like an effort that they put together over the offseason.
You know, nobody takes infield practice anymore. Remember the old infield practice they used to do? Well, the Astros have kind of modernized it. They have their own version of infield practice they take before BP. And a lot of the guys won't be allowed. And talking to A.J. Hinch about this the other day, not mandatory. It's the old mandatory, not mandatory thing. They all get out there before batting practice and have their own modern version of infield practice.
Well, I believe in it 100%. I just don't understand how outfielders can look to make good throws in a game if you don't practice it. And you know, the only time you really can practice it is in the true infield practice.
It's a way a lot of scouts and opposing coaches used to evaluate outfield arms. You get out there and watch infield. Who can do what?
Strike three. Gardner down looking. Well, this is for Paul. We're going to bridge the gap when it comes to bridges for him. Got a little Throgsneck Whitestone for you there, Paul.
I can see the Whitestone. That's Brooklyn, right?
Oh, Brooklyn, yeah.
Now I'm getting confused.
Queensboro.
Okay,
yeah. And the GW.
The GW.
The bane of
that
many
can be
people's
problems.
existence. And the Macomb stamp. There you have it. Start the fourth inning, and Gurriel swings and misses. 0-1. Audi scoreboard 3-0 Astros. J.D. Davis 3-run home run. 0-2. Seems like they start their swing, Paul, and the ball makes a left-hand turn.
Well, I tell you one thing. Every once in a while, you're seeing some good major league hitters miss a lot, and that has a lot to say about the stuff that Herman is throwing up there. And the 3-run homer.
Gleyber Torres. And that's going to be an error on Gleyber Torres. Not having his best day.
Unforced error. Takes his time just a little too much. A little out of rhythm.
He has a hit, but he's also been picked off at second, and now that error on the Gurriel ground ball. Here's Marwin Gonzalez. Shift is on for Gonzalez. Gonzalez plays all over the field. He's actually the only player in the modern era to homer in 4 straight games while playing 4 different positions in the field. Every team wants a Marwin Gonzalez or a Ben Zobrist now because the benches are so short and the bullpen's so long. So you need guys that can do a lot of things.
Courtney, I've talked to you about pitching, being pitching coach and what they look at. Put yourself in that position. Do you go back to 10 guys, 5 starters, 5 bullpen guys, or do you extend it just because of the way the game's played? I mean, 13 pitches, that's a lot of your roster.
It is, and it really comes under how many starters you have that can give you depth. And do you have, maybe it's just your 5th starter that you might need to piggyback, so to speak, and get, he might be able to, get knocked out after 4 or 5. But, at this point in time, until Sonny Gray establishes himself, and then, of course, Domingo Germán, now you're looking at 2, possibly 3 guys with Sabathia, depending on whether he can stay healthy or not, that you need, like, that extra pitcher for, just in case. So that presents the problem. Houston doesn't have that problem. They have 4 or 5 starters that can give you 6 innings at least, minimum.
And they still only have 3 guys on the bench.
Puts a lot of pressure on the position players.
Oh, absolutely.
Shallow left center. That's going to dunk in for a base hit. So Gonzalez picks up a single.
Another frustrating start to an inning if you're Germán. Easy 3-hopper lead off error, and now a ball off the end of the bat dunks into left field.
Change up grip. You can see the ball running away off the plate. Right off the end of the bat. Just enough.
You got what you wanted. You got the ball off the barrel of the bat. It just so happens it found a hole. And, sometimes as a young pitcher, you get frustrated with that, but you're still that one good sinker away from a double play here. And you can never lose sight of that.
Gaddis swings and misses.
The most important part of this day and this spot in the rotation is allowing Domingo Germán to learn. Keep giving him reps. The only way he's going to learn these lessons is on that mound against lineups like this Houston Astros lineup. You need to give guys a chance to find out.
Right.
Sometimes you give up too quickly on them. Terry Francona had a great line about that. He said, if you give up on guys when they're going bad, then you miss out on the good stuff when they turn it around.
You can do the same with hitters. I mean, there's no doubt about it. You see a guy that looks like he doesn't have a chance to hit, and boy, he goes to another organization, and all of a sudden, wow, you did miss that hot streak. And then it's a gamble, and that's where being able to see, mechanics and things and just the makeup of people and players can help you with those decisions.
It's so valuable to be able to develop your own young starters up through your system or through trades. Domingo Germán came over from Miami in the Nathan Eovaldi trade, but has been in the Yankee system enough to where this is homegrown.
That one is past Andujar, and it kicks off the side wall. Gurriel rounds third. He'll score. Going to third is Gonzalez, and he's out. Good throw by Gardner, but it's 4-0 Astros.
Gaddis really pulls his hands in quick and just hammers this down the line. Good play by Gardner to get the out, but this is an unearned run. two-seamer in and see him really pull his hands close into his body. That's just being able to get to the ball quick inside. Good job by Gardner. Heads up, good easy tag.
Not a bad pitch, you're right. That's probably just off the plate from Herman, so you give Gaddis credit there.
J.D. Davis with a 3-run home run his first time up. Takes a ball, 1-0. All right, so that's an RBI single, not a double for Gaddis. And Gonzalez is out at third, 7-5.
It's going to make a mess out of your scorecard, isn't it?
One thick line.
Not so bad.
Fly ball right field. Here comes Judge and Bird. Bird can't make the play. Judge couldn't get there.
Far reach. I mean, this play obviously is tougher than it looks in slow motion. A lot of time, and you're just not accustomed as a first baseman to reach and catch over your shoulder like that is.
Had to cover a lot of ground to get there.
One. There's the strike. Herman in the rotation for the Yankees because of the injury to Jordan Montgomery. Swing and a miss. Davis down on strikes. Let's check out today's injury report brought to you by Montefiore Doing More. So he played catch, Montgomery did, Friday and Saturday. Expected to return in 3 to 4 weeks, so he's been out a bit. Placed on the DL May 2nd with a left elbow strain, and they said about 8 weeks. And that looks like what it's going to be. And in 6 starts this year, he was 2-0 with a 3.62 ERA. Had a good rookie season last year with Brian McCann. And a strike.
And Michael, I actually spoke to Jordan Montgomery today, and he said he's felt no pain in that elbow in a while, so that's a good thing. They're taking him along the process slowly, though, and he told me he hopes to be back before the All-Star break.
Tap right over second base. Gregorius is there. He gets McCann for the final out. 1 unearned run. 2 hits, 1 big error, 1 man left. 4-0 Astros. Justin Verlander threw a complete game against the Yankees in Game 2 of the 2017 ALCS. Who was the last pitcher to throw a complete game against the Yankees in the postseason? Good question. Have the answer in the bottom in the next inning. Aaron Judge takes a strike. He struck out in the first inning. Outing scoreboard 4-0 Astros. The mom of our longtime stage manager, Audrey DeWeiss, Joyce DeWeiss, turns 91 today. Happy birthday, Joyce.
91.
91.
Good for you, Audrey. You come from good genetics.
One and two on Judge. Yankees have one hit by Gleyber Torres, a single in the second. High fly ball, right field. Springer over, makes the play.
Fans, you're going to want to make sure you're at Yankee Stadium on Thursday, June 14th, as the Yankees celebrate the 40th anniversary of Ron Guidry's 18 strikeout performance. One of the hottest collectibles of the season. It's Ron Guidry bobblehead night, the second in a 2018 collectible series presented by AT&T for the first 18,000 guests in attendance. For tickets, log on to Yankees.com. Visit Yankee Stadium ticket window, Yankees clubhouse shops, or call Ticketmaster at 877-469-9849.
And Paul mentioned on Friday the remarkably white teeth that
Really took care of himself.
Look at that, huh?
Colgate.
Got the nice stirrups working. Oh, 1 on Gary Sanchez, who struck out in the first inning against Verlander.
Gator had one of the most dynamic deliveries. His windup, the way he got his whole body into the pitch.
Not a big guy, but boy, a lot of velocity, hard slider.
Retired way before his time because of arm problems that probably could be fixed now with modern medicine and techniques. And I think that the thing that kept him out of the Hall of Fame is he didn't have the length of career. But his numbers are outstanding. 25-3 in 1978.
MVP and Cy Young.
Yep. No, he didn't win the MVP.
Should have been.
Yeah.
Coney, you got your vote, right?
Yeah, I'm saying revisionist history here.
Yeah, he's right behind Gary.
Michael, you mentioned this, you know, in that 18 strikeout game that you referenced, that was really the beginning of the 2-strike chant.
Yeah, we were talking about that. It really came into play when the playoffs came back, you know. That's when the fans really started getting back into it.
And the thing with Guidry, with that filthy slider, you really couldn't have a lineup of right-handed hitters. Played right into his hands. Our colleague, Ken Singleton, just had no success. He was a switch hitter, had no success against Guidry.
You know, it's as fun as the video watching him pitch, a Scooter in the background.
That's right. I think Scooter is the guy who actually gave him the name Louisiana Lightning. Popped up, Altuve makes the play.
Tell you what, you just can't say it enough how easy Verlander makes things look. Nobody hits it solid. Nobody hits it on the barrel. And if he needs to make a good off-speed pitch in a fastball count, he does that too. Fastball just enough out of the strike zone.
To go along with all that stuff, he's got a high spinning four-seamer, which stays up. It kind of gives that illusion of the rising fastball.
That's ripped down the right field line, and it is a foul ball.
Well, Bird had some really good swings yesterday. Game 2 back, and yes, today being able to get to this pitch is a good sign that he's going to be able to help this offense. And you can't expect a guy just to walk straight in off a rehab, but to get an inside fastball like that, really good swing.
Get another look from the overhead cam. Borderline. It's one of those pitches, Paulie, is the black part of the plate? He's throwing it on the black, and hitters would say, yeah, but the black's not supposed to be part of the plate. Verlander all over the black with a lot of his pitches.
Yeah, if you look at this sequence, I mean, fastball right on the inside corner. Backdoor breaking ball, now a breaking ball down and in. So, as a hitter, you're kind of all over the place. And there's the black you're talking about, Coney.
Painted black.
Little Stones reference, huh? Nice.
And the 1-2. 2-2.
Came ready to go, Paulie. I was up in your neck of the woods last night, up at Doral, Arrowwood.
Oh, was that right?
I was at a wedding. A little too late. Showed up late this
Imagine
morning.
that.
Had a piece of pizza for breakfast and 19 cups of coffee. I'm ready to go. Breakfast of champions.
Pizza for breakfast. That's because we didn't go to college. We got to do that stuff now, right, Cody?
Midlife crisis.
Gleyber Torres on deck. Grounded right into the shift. Altuve from short right field puts away Bird. And Verlander has retired 7 in a row as we go to the 5th. Astros over the Yankees. Verlander against Herman. Herman's defense has not helped him. GMC scoreboard 4-4-0, 0-1-1. The second inning, when they scored 3 runs, Gurriel hit a ground ball to short that should have been made into an out, but it went off the glove of Gregorius, and it was scored a hit. That one is looped into center field, and a beautiful play by Gleyber Torres for the first out. So the defense picks him up there.
Yeah, I agree with you, Michael. He's been put in a couple positions by defense, but good play by Torres here. I guarantee Herman, one of those guys that you face, brought to you by Yes Mo. See that? Even in slow motion, it looks good. A lot of guys go back to the dugout and think, you know, this guy's got good stuff. Glad we scored early.
I agree. I think, you know, the one mistake, obviously the 3-run home run. The 4th run was unearned based on an error. Now he just got picked up. See, that's why you never show up your infielders right there. He might make an error, but he's going to make a great play, possibly later in the game.
Now that happened with the Astros on Saturday, and it shows you the unity of a team, where Gurriel made a mistake behind Lance McCullers Jr. McCullers showed visible anger on the mound. And then Altuve made a good play behind McCullers. Line drive caught by Andujar, and you've got to see Altuve's reaction. Here it is right here. Happened on Saturday against the Indians.
Gurriel makes the error, and you know, every pitcher learns this lesson. Derek Jeter did it with David Wells. Jamie Quirk did it with me. You see Gurriel's a little upset. Hey, don't show me up. Altuve goes to school here with McCullers.
Love it. You can't fake things out on the field, Coney. And I was just thinking, you know, there's so many pitchers out there that, you know, if they're not pitching, they're not in it. And, you know, you can't fake it. And I remember back in the dugout, you were always out there. You know, CC Sabathia, always out there. Guys that truly are part of the team are out there. There's some pitchers that, you know, are in the spread in the 3rd inning if they're not pitching. And, you know, those are the type of teams that don't bond as much as the other ones.
And when McCullers was waiting to give a high five to Altuve, as you saw, he swiped it with his hand. He said, get lost. And then, as David said, took him to school in the dugout. You just don't do it.
Sometimes as a pitcher on the mound, you don't realize how you come off. It's a lesson. You know, you're caught up in your own little world, as you said, Paulie. It's my day to pitch. And I certainly did it. I had a situation in AAA where Jamie Quirk was my catcher and pulled me aside and did the same thing. You know, pitchers need to hear that at times. And David Wells heard it from Derek Jeter at one point in his Yankee career.
Swing and a miss. Altuve 0 for 3 against Herman, who has a 1-2-3 inning. At the 4.5, we are halfway through. It's 4-0 Astros. was the last pitcher to throw a complete game against the Yankees in the postseason.
How about Cliff Lee?
Yeah,
Wow,
yeah.
how about you?
I thought it was him or it was Keuchel. I couldn't remember if Keuchel finished out that day.
Good job, David.
It's impressive.
You think about the dominating pitchers, there's not that many. You know, they could go throw complete games. Cliff Lee was one.
What happened to Cliff Lee? Did he have some injuries? What happened?
He did. Had an incredible run, just a strike throwing machine. Talk about painted black.
Yeah.
GMC scoreboard 4-0 Astros.
Arm injuries derailed him at the end of his career. Still had a great run.
Well, this is the only hit for the Yankees right here. Gleyber Torres had a 1-out single in the second. And that was followed by a Hicks hit by Pitt, so there was first and second, 1-man out. Gregorius with a fly ball to center, and then Torres got picked off second with Andujar at the plate. That's the Yankee threat. Every other inning has been 1-2-3. Fly ball right field. Springer makes the play.
Well, a supremely confident pitcher on a roll with excellent sliders. You can see the depth, 85 miles an hour, and then a slow curveball, even though it's up, the speed fooled him. Another slider at the top of the zone gets the call, but that is the difference in Verlander. Verlander used to have a very hard slider in the upper 80s, around 90. It didn't break as much, and that's the one tweak, Michael, that analytics showed Verlander. And of course, Brett Strom, the pitching coach with the Astros, confirmed it with the TrackMan technology. And he's found the right break, the right velocity, the right release point, and that has revived his career.
I'll tell you what, Torres, I mean, when you're 21 years old, see, you get a pitch there, but watch his reaction there. Watch when he comes around the base. It's like, man, I knew I can hit this guy. That is a confident hitter.
That's in the seats.
Gleyber's right. He just missed that. A little bit under it. 102 miles an hour up the bat and 46-degree launch angle. Just a little bit underneath that. That easily could have been shot into the right field stands here at Yankee Stadium.
Cody, you missed the big number yesterday. Aaron Judge, 119.9 on a base hit yesterday.
Best exit velo this year.
You don't want to be an infielder with him in a bat.
High pop-up. As Gurriel puts it away for the second out.
Coach, you're cruising along and you're Justin Verlander, but you're used to getting a lot of swing and miss strikeouts, and today you're getting a ton of just miss pop-ups. You good with that, or you think something's wrong?
No, I think he's good with it. He knows how to pitch with a lead. He's got a 4-run spot here. We talked about it early in the game. He kind of saves something in the tank for when he needs it at times. Concentrate on location, and then when you need to dial it up, you can.
Uh-oh, we got a little reboot there. A little start, stop. Not really committed, huh, Cody? Got to start over.
Still giving multiple signs. Nobody on base. And you can see Verlander likes to stare off McCann. He doesn't shake his head a whole lot. So if he doesn't like the signals, he'll just stare. Just keep staring at the catcher. He doesn't shake his head. He doesn't want the hitter to know that he's shaking off a pitch. So even, 4-0, you're still going to get multiple signs here. Slight nod of the head.
Foul ball.
Foul ball and a new bat. Ball right in on his hands.
Didi is now 4 for his last 71.
One of the first fastballs in that we've seen Verlander try to challenge Didi off the plate. Steady diet of away. Really, Didi's seen that across the league.
See, that's a pitch right there that a month ago Didi was putting in the seats. That was one of the few misses you've seen on Verlander today. The slider, it just stays right there. Really good pitch to hit, but you see, as quick as he is with his front hip, he actually hit that ball in the end of the bat. And that just tells you you're pulling off to hit an inside pitch off the end of the bat.
Kind of peel apart the metrics, Michael. I mean, Didi's ground ball rate has gone from 26% to 41% from April to May.
What do you think that means?
Chasing, hitting worse pitches, not getting his strikes to hit. His chase rate outside the zone's gone from 30% to 35%. His base on ball percentage has gone from 15% to 5%. So it's just not getting as good of pitches to hit. Getting a little impatient. The streak, the cold streak kind of getting to you a little bit. Getting anxious, chasing a little bit more, hitting pitchers' pitches. If you hit pitches outside the zone, your ground ball rate's gonna go up. If you're walking less and chasing more pitches, it's hard to get the barrel of the bat on the ball.
That could be a gift hit that he needs, and it is.
Ends up looking like a beautiful thing in the newspaper tomorrow, but you can just tell his front side is just wide open. Everything's kind of just coming off the ball. This ball's cued off the end of the bat. And it's just a minor adjustment, but as a hitter, you really can't enforce it until some good things start happening.
Well, he was due, because even the balls he's hit hard, he's gotten nothing to show for it.
Michael believes in due. I've heard that before.
Big due guy.
Especially around contract time, right? Due for a raise.
Nice.
Part of it is the luck factor. Didi had a 118 batting average on balls in play so far in May. That's not all on him. We've seen even line drives he's hit go right at people. That is a number that tends to even out over the long run.
Line drive, base hit. And Duhar picks up a single. Gregorius advances to second.
You know, Andujar, one of the few guys, Torres, Ken, Andujar, that can handle the high fastball because they have such a level swing through the strike zone. You see, there's not an uppercut there. That ball stays level, and you're able to stay on that plane and just hammer it to right. Really, really good swing by Andujar. Look at that.
He can impact the baseball, that's for sure.
Here's Neil Walker. Second time today, the Yankees have a runner in scoring position.
You know, so many things have been mentioned, obviously, with the guys just waiting in the helm down in AAA. Andujar has done nothing other than to impress at the plate, and more so in my mind defensively. I mean, he's played a pretty good third base, and it's just he's taken an opportunity and really run with it.
That's all we heard was defense, right?
Yeah.
This copyrighted telecast presented by authority of the New York Yankees and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the aforementioned New York Yankees.
Neil Walker's done a pretty good job with runs in scoring position. Somehow you got to try to get on the board just to feel like you're in the game against Verlander.
Yankees looking for an offensive spark here against Verlander. The 1-1. 1-2.
I think Verlander has missed in this inning more than he has in the first 4 innings combined. I don't think he missed to Andujar. That was just a great swing, but he missed a couple to Didi, and he just missed a pitch to Walker right there. He hammered it, but he pulled it foul. The problem when you face a guy like Verlander, you cannot foul that good pitch off because he's inevitably going to make a good one.
Correa makes the play, and the Yankees strand 2. We played 5. It's 4-0 Astros. Stream Yankees baseball on Yes using Fox Sports Go, presented by Coors Light. We go to the 6th inning, and there's a strike to Carlos Correa. 4-0 Astros. Correa struck out and grounded to third. You talk about the best shortstops in the game. This guy's name is right at the top. You can argue and say first, second, or third, but he is so highly regarded, highly thought of, considered a superstar in the making, if not that he's already there. 1-2. A.J. Cole up in the Yankee pen, as Ramon about to throw his 90th pitch. Swing and a miss, overpowering a great hitter. 1 away.
He's doing well today, Paulie. I mean, it's just that one mistake, that 3-run home run. This is a 4-seamer. We talked about his 2-seamer running in. That one stays right away at 94.
It's got life at the end. I mean, I'm really impressed with the guy. I really like him, especially when he doesn't nibble and he just goes after people. He has bounced back after the big 3-run homer. He's getting beat at his own game today. I mean, he's just the bad luck of pitching against Verlander.
A 1 walk and 7 strikeouts does Herman today.
Gurriel with a soft ground ball to third, charging Andujar 2 away.
You know, his fastball command has gotten much better since that hiccup in the second inning when he walked a guy before the 3-run home run. He's starting to command both sides of the plate with 2-seamers and 4-seamers. Good sliders. Got a changeup for a third pitch. It's very effective. This is a good outing against a tough team right here. Houston Astros came in today kind of lapping the field in run differential. They are a plus 119. Scored 119 more runs than they've given up.
God, that's hard to do that in a full year, let alone in late May.
Boston and the Yankees are in the low 70s or mid 70s in that regard. The Yankees came into this game a plus 73 on the run differential. Boston at plus 77, and then the Cubs in Atlanta in the top 5.
I'll tell you what, you talk more about their starting pitching, and we've touched on how good it's been, and what makes it even more impressive is I remember playing those exhibition games down there when we opened that ballpark, and that is a hitter's ballpark. I mean, the ball flies out of there. There's never a bad day. It's just a very tough ballpark to pitch in, so it even complements that pitching even more.
The Astros are the defending champions. The championship runs through them. Yankees were 1 game away last year. You get that feeling that this could be another matchup this postseason. These two teams right here are going to go head to head somehow, some way. Boston's going to have a say in that.
Michael, somebody stole your Argyle sweater. Did you see that? Carlos Beltran. Who's he rooting for?
Beltran's kind of taken the year to relax and be with his family, and a lot of people look at him as a future manager. That's how highly regarded he is in the game right now. And he actually was considered by the Yankees when the position opened up, and Aaron Boone ended up getting it. Hit that twice.
There's another guy that's really working hard, Omar Vizquel. Took a job in low A ball, Paulie, to be a manager this year. And let's see another look at this slider down and in. Another quality pitch off his foot, a double tap. In golf, that's a penalty.
Yeah, that usually costs you a match right there.
There's a base hit down the right field line into the corner. And a touch by a fan, so it will be a double for Gonzalez. I'd like to warn everybody that at 3 o'clock, there's going to be a national moment of remembrance as we pause to remember the brave men and women who made the ultimate sacrifice in service to our country. So the game will be held up, and all the games around Major League Baseball at 3 o'clock, so we're a minute away. Here's Evan Gattis. Pitch inside.
What's to be a big out for Herman? 100 pitches to get through 6 innings against this lineup after the big home run early. I think it still would be a positive outing out of the score.
I agree.
Get through the 6th there.
Absolutely. You don't want to blemish now at this point, even though you're down 4-0. I think Herman has acquitted himself very nicely today. Good stuff.
Now we will throw it over to the PA announcer, Paul Olden.
Your attention, please, ladies and gentlemen. On this Memorial Day 2018, the Yankees in Major League Baseball are once again participating in the national moment of remembrance as we pause to remember the brave men and women who made the ultimate sacrifice in the service of our country. Please join us now in this moment of silence as a collective and unified expression of gratitude to the heroes who lost their lives while protecting the freedoms we enjoy today. Thank you.
So that moment of remembrance took place at every single ballpark in the majors. And it's a beautiful thing that Major League Baseball does. Gaddis takes outside, 2-0. Swing and a miss. 2-1. Sixth inning here at the stadium, 4-0 Astros. 102 pitches for Herman. Runner at second, 2 outs. Blocked by Sanchez, 3-1.
Kind of a dangerous pitch here, Coney. It seems like when he gets to the fastball count and he kind of aims it, that it kind of straightens out a little bit. Not free and easy, and he doesn't get that sink.
The dead red hitter, too.
Just missed as Gaddis walks.
Well, with the base open, I think Sanchez was thinking on the same line. It's going to be enough. Aaron Boone has got to go to the bullpen here.
So 4-0, first and second, 2 outs. Certainly not helped by his defense. And the call to the bullpen brought to you by Planet Fitness. Herman departs. Cole comes in. First and second, 2 outs. comes from New York City than any other airline. Good things come to those who go. Delta, keep climbing. And by Toyota. Camry Hybrid is the official hybrid vehicle of the New York Yankees. So Herman gives the Yankees 5 2/3 innings. Might be the youngest fan in the ballpark right now. Enjoying a beverage. Those were the days.
They're still the days for you. You're not far from them.
No, being the child.
Oh, being the child. All right.
A.J. Cole has made 2 starts with the Nationals, 9 games overall between the Nationals and the Yankees. Those were his numbers. He faces J.D. Davis, swing and a miss, throw to second. Not in time as Gonzalez gets back.
I did notice you just, in the media lounge today, the Cracker Jack for Memorial Day, you doubled up on them. That's for the kids, I assume.
No, I'm eating them
Are
myself.
those, that's yours?
Yes.
All right, Charlie, sorry. If you're listening, you had some Cracker Jacks, but your dad's going to eat them.
I thought Herman got better as the game went along, had a little trouble from the stretch early in the game.
Looped into center field, and again, a great play by Gleyber Torres to end the inning. Well, he has made up for that bad throw with 2 nice plays. This one better than the other. As the Yankees get out of a jam, we go to the bottom of the 6th. In honoring our fallen heroes by the Jeep Celebration event going on now, and by People's United Bank, checking without curveballs. Remember, FDIC. Take another look at that Torres play, Paul. What do you think?
Well, again, it's all on the first break. And, you know, he got a good break on it and a good angle. It's a big play right there. Runners in scoring position. T. Herman loved it. This is where Larry Rothschild has got to sit down with Herman and just explain, hey, you know what? It was a positive outing because, you know, as a young kid, it's all about the results. You know, here I left in a 4-0 game, but could have been a lot worse. And, you know, he showed much more positive things on the mound in my mind than he did negative.
Absolutely. His fastball command got better throughout the day, both sides of the plate. He's pitching out of jams. When he gets in the stretch, it looks like he loses a little command. He's got to learn how to navigate those rough waters, you know, when you get in a jam. He tends to overthrow a little bit when he gets in the stretch. And he had good stuff today. Absolutely. I view that as very much of a positive. 7 strikeouts and just 2 walks.
Flop the other way, foul. You said it could have been a lot worse. It could have been a lot better.
Yeah, I was just going to say, hypothetically, you know, if those plays are made, you know, where are we now?
Yeah, different story. The fourth run was unearned, and for some reason, the ground ball to Didi was scored a hit. If that's an error, as it should have been, then his line looks completely different. 1-2. Soft ground ball right back to Verlander. Broke his bat. 1 away.
When you have an offense like the Yankees that average about 5 runs a game, this kind of outing will work. And the sliders were there. Those are both off of fastballs in. There's the 4-seamer away. 94 miles an hour. The 2-seamer running in that didn't get it. That was a 3-1 fastball that he fell behind after a walk. That's the proverbial one pitch or one back, and that's the story of the starters. Life, really. You lay your head on your pillow tonight. God, if I could have that one pitch back. I still think about those one pitches, Paulie. I threw a slider to Jim Thome in the playoffs, and he hit the upper deck for a grand slam one year.
See, Michael, I'm not the only one who can remember that kind of stuff. It's amazing you can't remember what to get at the store when you're on your way there, but you can remember a pitch from 20 years ago, you know?
I wish we had the exit velocity rankings for Jim Thome.
You like your chances of getting on the board?
He clubbed some baseballs. Man, they made a loud sound off of his bat.
One. 2-1 to Judge. Judge with a strikeout and a fly ball to right. Yankees have 3 hits, a single by Torres, a check swing, ground ball by Didi to third, and a clean single to right by Miguel and Duhar. Two and two.
We talked about it earlier where he was 93, 94. All of a sudden, you know, you're Aaron Judge and you're in a fastball count. That was 96. So he has kept a little bit in case he needs it in a big situation.
Three and two.
Well, you read it, Paulie. I mean, in the first 2 innings, Verlander got 6 swings and misses on his pitches, and since that point, nothing. It's still kind of cruising.
3-2. He's gone breaking ball to Judge earlier in the game. Fastball this time at 97.
And that one's fouled down the right field line. Talked about his increased velocity as the game moves on, and the 97 miles an hour. The fast pitch speed analytics brought to you by FiOS by Verizon.
There's a lesson to be learned here for young pitchers that you don't have to be maximum effort all the time, especially as a starter.
3-2. Ground ball is short. Correa, the long throw, got him. Oh, wow.
Oh, my.
Then he gets to talking to. What are you doing?
Give it back.
Give it back to me.
That's a big league moss that kid had, right?
He had a head of hair on him, though, right?
Michael, what would you give for some hair like that?
I have enough trouble with what I have. Fly ball right field. Sanchez retired. David, what's the chance that Foot would allow me to have that kind of haircut?
It's
not
Slim
very
and
good.
none. Let's talk about it when we go to break here, huh?
any other airline, good things come to those who go. Delta, keep climbing. Yankees trail this one 4-0, 6 innings in the books here on Memorial Day. Big crowd on hand. Lights have been on since the very beginning. The sun has played some peekaboo with the clouds, but is lost. It's been overcast most of the day.
It's been lost for a while around here, Ed.
Well, certainly since Friday. One 1-0 to Brian McCann. Cadillac scoreboard 4-0 in favor of the Astros.
Every time A.J. Cole has come into a game, we show his overall numbers, which kind of reflect more of his Washington days.
Right to Bird, down to knees, and he flips the call one away.
But Paulie, since he's come over with the Yankees, he's unscored upon. This is his 6th outing. Came into this game 8 2/3 of innings worked. Nothing. A lot of zeros across the board. Had a big outing earlier this year in extra innings, really picked up the Yankees. So far, so good as a Yankee.
I was going to say, you throw an inning or two, nothing happened. All of a sudden, you're making 4, 5, 6 appearances, and you get up 8, 10 innings. All of a sudden, you start to open some eyes about what you're doing.
Part of the recent history. He could do both. He could start. He started with the Nationals. The Nationals cut him loose. The Yankees got him on the scrap heap. You talk about sending Ronald Torreyes out. It was let's keep Cole around for now. We need to see a little bit more of him. I firmly believe that Ronald Torreyes will be back. It was a very difficult decision without a lot of agony. You talked to Aaron Boone about it. I know Brian Cashman as well. Really, the entire Yankee coaching staff agonized over that decision. Ronald Torreyes will be back at some point, probably sooner rather than later.
Well, the toughest, as a manager, general manager, toughest thing in this game, obviously, sending people down, releasing people. Never fun decisions.
Marisnik, fly ball to center. 2-way. On this Memorial Day, USAA honors our fallen heroes. And we certainly thank our current military, many at the ballpark today.
The Fleet Week, right?
Yep. Strike to Springer. Springer's 0 for 3 today.
It's one of my favorite episodes on Sex and the City. Sarah Jessica Parker, and the great show. It's the Fleet Week show. It's a fantastic show.
Was close. Didn't you had her on your show?
Yeah, but she said her favorite Yankee of all time was the guy sitting to your left.
Coney?
Loves him.
She must be a late nighter. Saw you out and about.
Sex and the City, one of the great shows. It's like a Bible for men, to understand everything you don't know. Which is still a lot.
I'll tell you one thing. I mean, you've got a huge crowd, 2 good teams, and Justin Verlander has just kind of taken the air out of this place just because, he has not allowed the Yankees to score, to get really involved and get the crowd involved, and that's what good pitching will do. I said how good they are on the road. And a lot has to do with that great starting pitching that they travel with everywhere.
Very quiet full house today, Yankee Stadium, which is rare.
A hollow pop-up. And Andujar makes the play. And Cole works a 1-2-3-7 to the end of 6.5. Get up and stretch. Astros lead the Yankees 4-0, but will remain right here as we honor America here in the Bronx on Memorial Day.
Ladies and gentlemen, will you please rise and remove your caps? And please direct your attention to the area behind home plate as the New York Yankees welcome an honored military guest who is joined by his family. United States Army, Private First Class, 93-year-old Raymond Cook from Brimfield, Massachusetts, who served in World War II and has received 2 Purple Hearts and a Bronze Star. The Yankees say thank you for your sacrifice and service to our nation. Now, ladies and gentlemen, please join in Kate Smith's rendition of God Bless America.
For 6 innings, and he's not allowed to run. Domingo Germán lasted 2 outs into the 6th. J.D. Davis with a big 3-run home run. Evan Gaddis an RBI single. That's the scoring right there. So with a pitch count of 92, Greg Bird leads off against Verlander. And the pitch is low, 1-0, and watching her husband very closely is Kate Upton, Verlander.
See, she's not in the cheap seats either, right? They're down by the field.
Cadillac scoreboard, 4-0 Astros. Bird fouls it away. Last 4 starts against the Yankees, they haven't been able to do much damage. In fact, the last time he pitched, as Jack just told you, the Yankees got to the bullpen. And that became one of the famous shots of this young baseball season. Gary Sanchez hit a home run off of Ken Giles. And then Ken Giles punched himself in the face as he was taken out of the game.
It works sometimes, Coach. Huh?
He kind of went with it, you know.
Yeah.
It looked, I think, worse than it was.
Didn't take the full punch.
High fly ball, right field, Springer back, trap, wall, see ya! Home run, Greg Bird, Yankees on the board. It's 4-1 Astros.
Well, welcome sight from the left side. Greg Bird back in there. He missed a slider before, and he got another one. He didn't miss it twice. I'll tell you what, Greg Bird could be such a huge addition to this lineup, hitting from the left-hand side. You see this slider, not a lot of bite to it, just a beautiful swing. Just enough to get it out of here.
Here's Gleyber Torres.
A lot of balance, nothing forward. It's a lot of extension. Verlander, no doubt about where that one's heading. I don't even want to watch it.
Verlander's pitched in this ballpark enough to know,
Yeah.
that you're not getting that one back, and not when it's pulled. Not exactly. I wouldn't call that porched. You know, that's my favorite term for whether you got porched or not by the short porch. It's 361 feet, 101.8 miles per hour off of Greg Bird's bat.
Will Harris is up.
Just being fooled by a slider enough, but being able to keep it fair. And earlier we saw some balls hit that were hooked. And it's just being a little bit too quick when we're talking about Didi. Greg Bird, by staying through the ball and not coming off and around it, you know, you keep that ball fair. You get a nice true spin, and it doesn't hook foul on you. Sounds so easy up here, Tony.
It's so true, and that's the bat path that I read when I was on the mound. You know, is the left-handed hitter susceptible to breaking in on him? Does he get around it and hook a foul?
Well, Torres has worked the count 3-2. Last home run for Bird was game 1 of last year's ALCS, and that was off Ken Giles. And the more you can make Verlander work here, the more outs you have to force the Astros bullpen to get. And there are some good arms out there, but they're not Justin Verlanders.
That is the ultimate point right now. Get this guy out of the game any way you can.
We talked about their loss yesterday and the issues they had late in the game. Well, it can happen.
Only to the 9th inning, they led 8-3, and their bullpen had been great for a long stretch leading up to yesterday, but yesterday kind of imploded against the Indians. And the 3-2. Torres continues to battle. That's a 97-mile-an-hour fastball.
He's really got on top of that and tried to run it in on him. Torres, again, doesn't change his approach, whether it's first swing, last swing. You see this ball kind of run in because he stays on top. It's just a really good swing by Torres. See, nothing has changed. You could put that strike 1, strike 2, it doesn't matter. His positioning when the ball is in the hitting area is the same, and that's what gives him the opportunity to handle the whole plate.
Harris is about ready. 8 relievers, just 1 left-hander out there for the Astros. 3-2. Swing and a miss. 97 miles an hour past Torres, 1 away.
Wow, he got his money's worth there. Every once in a while as a hitter, you really see a pitch well. Didn't see him overswing much, but he did there. Saw his frustration last time where he felt like he had some pitches to hit. He just swung through that one.
Here's Aaron Hicks. Shift is on. 3 infielders on the right side.
Used to irritate you, Coney. A lot of pitchers really would get irritated if, you know, you swing, overswing, end up on your back knee. I always thought you'd have just struck him out. Who cares, right?
Yeah, I mean, there was something very old school about that. 3-2, here it is, hit it. Here's my best, go ahead. See how far you can hit it. In the day and age when mostly analytics and front offices are discouraging pitchers away from throwing their fastballs. Throw more breaking balls. Sometimes things are taken out of context. That was just, here you go. Here you go, kid. Here's my best fastball. 97 miles an hour.
That's really interesting to me because he didn't really hit mid-90s until the 6th inning. Last inning, he threw one to Judge at 95 and went to 96. He's been at 97, and if I have a chance tomorrow, BP down on the field, I'm gonna try to get and ask him, you know, is this done intentionally, or do you actually just, you know, you feel like you get more loose as the game goes on? So we'll see what happens.
That's the way Nolan Ryan was. He actually got looser as the game went on.
Chop slowly right side. And a close play at first, but Hicks is out. Correa with the strong throw to Davis.
Yeah, it's always, in plays like this, it's all about the transition from the glove to the hand. The strike definitely out, but it's such a quick transition. If you bobble this at all, he could be safe.
Correa has yet to make an error this year. We talked about the Houston defense. Very sure-handed as well.
You know,
Gregorius checks the swing.
It's really the really little things that can help you as a player. And if you look back at that replay, Correa caught that ball over by where you transition it. Didn't catch it out front and then have that long pull out of his glove. And it's just little things like that that make infielders so much better. A lot of times as an outfielder, you know, you end up catching a ball. For me, you know, being left-handed, would catch it on the right side and then have to, you know, move the ball all the way across your body to get in a throwing position, where you learn as you play to start catching it into the center of your body and closer to your throwing arm, which it's such a shorter transition to get rid of the ball.
Ground ball, a base hit up the middle for Gregorius. So came into the game 4 for his last 7. He's 2 for 3 today.
Well, every once in a while, we remember the last hit was a little cue shot, but this is a nice solid single up the middle. Didn't try to do too much with it, kind of hit it where it was pitched against the shift. And A.J. Hinch is going to save his ace. That's enough for today.
113 pitches, and that will do it for Verlander. So they'll bring in Will Harris to face Miguel Andujar. Yankees trail 4-1, bottom of the 7th. refreshing finish. He's getting booed off the mound by the stadium crowd. I mean, loud. So, a little touch of the cap, and they said, you know what? They deserve more from me.
You could do that when you're good, huh, Cody?
He's good. And that is the refreshing finish as he finishes his day. So the Yankees knock him out. And what happens now is that the Astro bullpen has to get 7 outs from the Yankees. Those are the numbers on Will Harris's 23rd game. A 4.08 ERA. He's going to face Miguel Andujar with Gregorius on first and 2 men out here in the bottom of the 7th.
There's that Reggie Jackson line, right? They don't boo nobodies.
So the home run by Bird kind of ignited this, and it was the first road home run allowed by Verlander all year. Second road earned run allowed by Verlander. His road ERA coming in was 0.26. And the last home run he allowed was back on April 25th. Albert Pujols got him. So he'd gone 41 innings pitched without allowing a home run. And here's the Astro bullpen. What it did yesterday. So you might want to shield your eyes. It wasn't very good. The Yankees are hoping for more of the same. 1-1 on Andujar. 4-1 Astros, bottom of the 7th. Runner goes. Throw to second, off the glove of Altuve, and in at second with the stolen bases, Gregorius.
Well, you take a chance with 2 outs. Much easier to score from with a single than a double. And right there, kind of a cheat steal by Didi. A good jump.
Harris very slow to home plate, a high leg kick. The numbers were just too good to pass up, but Didi easily in there.
Two and two. The 2 hits for Gregorius. His first 2-hit game since May 3rd. Each team with 5 hits. Didi leads off second with 2 outs, 2-2 count. 3-2 with Neil Walker on deck.
A couple things going through your mind as a hitter. You got to realize 3-run game. Can't leave the strike zone, give Neil Walker a shot, but also you got to realize the pitcher knows the same thing. You know, you should see a good pitch here. You don't want to walk, get the tying run up to the plate.
Swing and a miss. Down goes Andujar, and that'll do for the Yankees in the 7th. But they get a run on 2 hits, no errors, and 1 man left. Andujar chases the pitch out of his zone, and Verlander likes what he sees. 6 outs to go. His bullpen will have to do it. Back here in the Bronx for another game against the Astros. Yes, we'll have pre- and post-game coverage surrounding the action on Pix 11. Then on Wednesday, we've got full coverage of the series finale starting at 6 with the Chevy Yankees pregame right here on Yes. Jose Altuve swings at the first pitch. A high fly ball, deep left, going back Gardner on the track. See ya! A home run for Altuve, and it's 5-1 Astros. That was as high as it was far.
Well, I'll tell you what, he's just an amazing little hitter. I mean, he just absolutely is. From the on-deck circle on, he's ready to swing. But again, he's on his way for his 5th career, or 5th consecutive 200-hit season. Very tough guy to pitch to, Coney. I mean, strike zone wise and what he hits. I mean, he can handle the fastball and he crushes breaking balls. So, I don't know that you have a specific hole that you could pitch to. Huh?
No, he has great play coverage. He's very aggressive. He'll adjust during an at-bat.
Correa swings and misses.
And you're right. This is a moonshot, Michael. Slider on the inner half, and he's all over it, but hits it extremely high. 39-degree launch angle. You can see as Gardner's got plenty of time. That thing's got about 6 or 7 seconds of hang time.
0-2.
Yeah, the scouting report, we talked about it. I mean, he's hitting .423 coming into the game on breaking balls, and that's another breaking ball that wasn't a good one.
On one hop, Gleyber Torres makes the play. One away here in the 8th. And here's a home run on StatCast. Traveled 373 feet.
There's some ballparks that would not be a home run in. Houston is not one of those. That would have been a home run in Houston as well.
Lost the sunglasses in his pursuit, and those certainly not needed today.
The hit probability percentage on that, just to kind of give you a little more context, was 42%.
Wow.
It kind of shows you the different types of ballparks, which ones would be home runs or not. That's not a guaranteed home run, mainly because he hit it so high.
Hyundai scoreboard 5-1 Astros. The dominance of Altuve sometimes really goes unnoticed. So he has the most hits since 2014. That home run was his 919th. In second place is the Rockies' Charlie Blackmon. He has 798.
121 more hits. Good Lord.
So the 121 hit gap from 1 to 2 is wider than the gap from Blackmon to 26th hitter, and that's Elvis Andrus. Two and 2 on Gurriel.
It's a machine.
It really is. I mean, offensively, indeed, I just said that guy that you know what you're going to get day in and day out, plays every day.
And we saw when we showed you the clip from Saturday that he's a leader on the team as well. How he kind of took Lance McCullers Jr. to school. Stavensky's up.
Oh, nice little snag down there.
That was the first earned run that Cole has given up as a Yankee.
Grounded. Oh, what a grab by Andujar. And the throw pulls Bird off the bag. Base hit for Gurriel.
Again, defensively, Andujar's been good. In day games, you don't see the ball very well. Good reaction. Actually caught it behind him. Just not enough time. Good strong throw, but a little off target. You would have had him. Huh?
Yes. And there's the hard part, and then obviously you got to finish and up and at him. Just held on to it a little bit too much. Good effort.
Here's Marwin Gonzalez. Nice stop there by Sanchez. Holds Gurriel at first. (5-1) Astros. So they get back the run that Greg Bird gave the Yankees with a home run by Altuve. Two 2-0. 7 hits for Houston and 5 for the Yanks. Yankees do lead mound visits remaining. They have 4. The Astros have 3. (3-0) to Gonzalez. Nobody up in the Yankee bullpen.
All of a sudden, Cole was all in the strike zone. He's having a little trouble commanding the fastball. It's that ball way behind him, Coney, huh? Before he slings it in there.
Yeah, he does. It's kind of a long arm action, sinker slider style.
Strike.
It's amazing. You see breaking balls now. So many hitters are swinging 3-0 that you see breaking balls 3-0 now.
It's almost as if since the percentages have gone up across the board, more breaking balls are being thrown. It's almost as if pitchers have better command of that. You know, the old school theory was you had to throw a fastball because that's the one you could command. When you need to throw a strike, you should probably go to your fastball. That's no longer the case.
Fly ball, deep center. Hicks drifts back to make the play for the second out. Now a quick word from Spectrum.
Spectrum Internet. No data caps, no contracts. Just faster speeds with better performance.
Astros have a runner on first base with 2 men out. And here's Evan Gattis. Gattis has walked twice in an RBI single. Gurriel leads off of first. Pitch outside from Cole.
It's almost, Michael, as well. You know, you talk about the finished product that these teams will have. The trade deadline looming. The Yankees' main competitor seems like the Astros over the last several deals. You think about it, I mean, the Cole trade, certainly the Yankees were in on that one. I'm not sure, just according to reports that you hear, but there was a lot of interest. The Yankees had interest in Cole going back to drafting him out of high school.
Right, 2-1.
So just about anybody who's on the market, whether you're a reliever or whatever need arises, there's going to be competition with the Astros. They have a lot of resources too, and a lot of chips in the minor leagues that they parlayed into a lot of these trades, and still have several prospects as well. Now the Astros don't have a need in the rotation anymore.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. You're going to see some different things. Astros looking for bullpen help. Yankees possibly starter.
Hicks makes the play to end the inning, but the Astros get the run back on 2 hits, no errors, and 1 man left on base. We go to the bottom of the 8th inning here at the stadium. It's 5-1 Astros. For 300 hours of coverage. The world's biggest sporting event begins June 14th on Fox and FS1. Neil Walker will lead off. New pitcher for the Astros is Chris Davinsky. Will Harris got the final out of the 7th. Good numbers for Davinsky. Hyundai scoreboard 5-1 Astros. Davinsky has a very good changeup. Line to right field. That's going to be a base hit for Neil Walker. Starts off the 8th with a single.
Well, it was that changeup, Michael, and you can see Davinsky really just kind of sells it. He falls off to the side over to first base, and then just comes across the ball. Pretty good pitch, a little better swing.
Well, you were right, Paulie. I mean, you look how Davinsky's style all the way over on the first base side of the rubber and lands open. I mean, almost flies open, and then tries to turn over that changeup.
Here's Brett Gardner. And a strike.
That's so different. What's that look like coming at you? You're in the left-hander's batter's box.
Yeah, you really have to get away from the body movement of the pitcher and really concentrate on the baseball. Sometimes you follow the release in the pitcher and you kind of lose sight. So it makes that changeup going away really effective to a lefty.
One.
Excuse me, landing open and flying open.
Mm-hmm.
One. 1-2.
A couple borderline pitches here to Gardner. This ball, you know, borderline up and away. This kind of frustrates you there, Coney. You can't pull the trigger on it, but you know, it's just that kind of 50-50 call, and it goes against you. It puts you in a hole 1-2.
Well, we give you the best looks anywhere in the league right there. I mean, John Moore.
Grounded to first. Davis fires a second one, and that's all they'll get.
Really, our whole crew, Paulie, and you know it. I mean, if you want to see the strike zone, we'll give you overhead the side camera, just like that. You know, better than anybody in the business. What we've seen is, you know, the pitch tracking mechanism or even the box, you know, there's a margin for error around that. Not, you know, it's not perfect.
No.
Here's Aaron Judge. He's 0 for 3. His first at bat against Davinsky. Foul back.
Boy, unlike most teams, they've really challenged Judge early in the count, and he's been behind all day. Verlander gave him some fastballs early, good swings, but fouled off, and then then they go to the breaking ball.
The 0-1. 0-2.
There's that good change up there, and you see the movement. I mean, it's almost like a left-handed breaking ball because he comes across it so much. Really dives down at the end.
His style serves him well, like he jumps at the hitter and then turns over that changeup.
Chases a high fastball and strikes out.
Yeah, again, Coney, to your point, as a hitter, you got to be careful and not jump at him when he jumps at you. And what I mean is, your movement towards the pitcher. As soon as you see that quick jump from him, you have a tendency as a hitter to kind of go after it. And see, this is the pitch up out of the strike zone that Judge is susceptible to, but he's been so good this year so far at staying off of it.
Yeah, it's kind of a rare thing nowadays. We haven't seen Judge chase that pitch nearly as much this year at all.
Here's Gary Sanchez. Gardner scampers back. It was Sanchez that allowed the Yankees to deal Brian McCann. And McCann agreed to it because he figured it was Sanchez's time and he still thought he could catch. And now you talk to the Astros pitchers about him, they swear by McCann. Some of them talk about McCann being a Hall of Fame catcher. They just love pitching to him.
You pull your little notepad out of your pocket, put it in your glove, read it over, put it back. With the mound visits now, they have little cheat sheets every once in a while back at the catcher's position.
Waves at that pitch, 0-2.
And you look at the way Davinsky goes against righties, and fastballs, and then he goes to the changeup. You'd be very well suited to try to take him to right center field. Really have not seen him pound righties in at all.
Pushes it outside a bit more. 1-2. 7th sellout of the year announced here at the stadium. 46,583. Swing and a miss. And that'll do it for the Yankees in the 8th. No runs a hit. 1 man left on base. We go to the 9th. Jason Shreve coming in. Yes, a sensational goal scorer, Davi Villa, and the boys in blue look to remain unbeaten at home when they host Orlando City. Coverage kicks off at Saturday at 7:30, presented by Etihad Airways, right here on Yes, and streaming on Fox Sports Go. I'd seen Chase and Shreve warming up, but it's Tommy Canley who comes in. Came off the DL and did not pitch that well on Saturday. You see his numbers. The 10 walks are obviously a concern, but the Yankees were not concerned about his performance on Saturday. Let's see how he bounces back here on Monday. He'll face the bottom third of the order, starting with J.D. Davis. And there's a strike.
Last outing, though, his velocity was up, which was a good sign. Early in the year, they were kind of worried about, he wasn't throwing as hard. To come back and have his velocity, it's a big thing. Well, J.D. Davis, most of the offense today. Big 3-run homer in the 2nd inning. 3-1 fastball. He didn't miss it.
setting up away is Gary Sanchez, and almost nicked the uni going by.
There's the closer, Ken Giles. Rounded to first, Bird. One down. So Canely now against McCann. Want to know?
Saw McCann before the game a little bit. He was down in the cage hitting, and they're just one of the true good guys in the game. You don't hear bad things about him from either side. It's just
caught on the line by Gregorius to retire McCann 2-away. And that brings up Marisnik.
When you're watching Canely pitch and coming off of a DL stint, a little bit of arm problems, it's always the velocity watch. He's an upper 90s guy last year at his peak. Fastball changeup. I think he's still in a position to try to build up arm strength. You know, throwing 93, 94 now. Still a good fastball, but that's a big difference than 96 to 98 that we saw from him last year. It makes his changeup play so much better. If you're throwing 93 with an 88 changeup, that's a big difference than 98 to 88.
The changeup. I mean, when he came over from Chicago last year, I remember him kind of being fastball, overpowering fastball slider. And then, you know, a lot of changeups started coming into play. I'm just wondering if he kind of did lose a little velocity because he started throwing the changeup a lot more.
Yeah, a little bit overthrown there down in the dirt at 94. We've seen the velocities tick up across the league over the last several years. The average four-seam fastball in the big leagues is about 92.8 miles an hour now across the board.
And Marisnik down on strikes, and that'll do it as the Astros go down in order. We go to the bottom of the ninth inning. Bird, Torres, and Hicks against Giles coming up. Justin Verlander. They decided, let's pitch to Gary Sanchez. Bad decision. Sanchez hits a 3-run home run. Yankees go nuts. Giles watches it go. Then leaving the mound, he punches himself in the face. That display, though, if you remember, they didn't use him the next game in a closing situation and ended up blowing the game, as A.J. Hinch had enough of that kind of histrionics and decided to not give Giles the ball. But he's 9 for 9 in save opportunities with a 5 ERA. Now, that wasn't a blown save because I believe it was a tie game when he came in.
Every once in a while, you have to have a little talk with yourself, Coney, and if it involves, trying to knock yourself out, so be it.
Try to take it down in the tunnel so nobody sees you.
Fouled off the foot of Bird.
With good confidence, A.J. Hinch with Giles right back out there. Michael mentioned that in that game against Cleveland yesterday. Faced 3 batters, 3 hits, and 3 earned runs. No outs. Right back in there today.
When you look at this Astro team, Paul and David, that would be the area that you think that they're going to look to improve around the trade deadline. They thought they got their closer with Giles, and they gave up a lot for him. But he has never really been the guy. He didn't close in the World Series last year. They used their starters to close. Giles kind of lost the job then, too. Got great stuff. Shift is on for Bird, who had a home run his last time up in the 7th. Checks the swing, count 1 and 2, so Bird's 1 for 3. There's a base hit. Beautiful piece of hitting by Greg Bird. Well, right after the final out, stick around for the W.B. Mason postgame. Bob and Jack are back in the studio with all the highlights from this Memorial Day matchup here in the Bronx. Plus, Meredith has the clubhouse reaction. It's only on Yes.
Tell you what, you got to be kind of mentally tough if you're Greg Bird. I mean, how many times have you gone through, I feel great, now I'm hurt again, and I feel great, and it's just time and time again. And boy, I tell you what, you cannot draw up a better swing than that.
Paul O'Neill special right there.
That ball tailing away and just to cover it and not pull off of it. I'd love to see it.
Torres swings and misses. Following that Yankees series, the Astros bullpen allowed 7 runs in the previous 18 games. That was a 1.25 ERA. That led the major leagues. But yesterday, the bullpen allowed 7 runs. And Giles threw 21 pitches yesterday, but it had been off the previous 3 days. 0-2.
As much as we bragged about Torres and his approach, the last 2 at-bats, he's really flying open and swinging a little bit harder than he usually does.
Swing and a miss. Chased the pitch up in the zone as he goes down on strikes for the 2nd time today. 1 away.
A tough pitch to handle right here at 98. All of a sudden you're 0-2 and you see that ball up in your eyes. Very tough to stay on top of it.
Kind of got worked over here. Did not see a strike. Chased 2 breaking balls down and then up and out for the fastball. Classic backward style pitching.
Much less leg kick right there, and without that leg kick you don't really load back and you kind of go forward.
Inside to Hicks. 1-0. Yankees need a couple more base runners to bring up the tying run. There's the strike. Right back to Giles. And he makes the throw to first. Thought about second as Bird advances, and the Yankees are down to their final out.
He sure did. Then he thought otherwise. Hey, you know, I need a couple more outs, and you'll watch him field it, think about reverse pivoting, and then all of a sudden, I better just get an out. There we go.
And that'll bring up Gregorius. Didi 2 hits today. Bird's on second, 2 men out, bottom of the ninth, 5-1 Astros. And a strike. One and one.
You know, win or lose this game, this is a pretty important bat for Didi, because, you know, all of a sudden you've put together a day where, you know, you've got a couple hits, and you want to continue to put together at bats where you can trust yourself that, hey, I'm beyond this slide that I've been in. So this is the at bat that you take home mentally. So it's very important that you dig in and have a good at bat to go home with.
And the Yankees are down to their final strike. And the pitch. Grounded to first. Davis steps on the bag, and that'll do it. As the Astros beat the Yankees 5-1 in the first game of this 3-game set. Verlander was Verlander. Altuve with a home run. Davis with a 3-run home run. And that pretty much got it done against Domingo Germán, who started for the Yankees. We have more to do right here on Yes, as the Yankees end this Memorial Day with a 5-1 loss to the Astros. We'll be back.